How's it going, everyone? It's Nick again with the Buzz Life YouTube channel, and today we're looking at a Spyderco Persistence. Now, the Spyderco Persistence is part of the Spyderco Tenacious line. Now, the Tenacious is a very, very popular knife. It's probably a knife that started off a lot of people in knife ownership, or knife collecting, knife carrying. It was one of those entry-level knives that, or I guess higher-end entry-level knives that people really gravitated to after using maybe, a gas station knife or something along those lines. And it's from a reputable brand, Spyderco. Now, Spyderco started making some of their knives, the Tenacious series and the Bird series, in China. And they have their same quality and craftsmanship standards that people love, only they're made in China, so they can keep the cost down for the consumer. Now, these blades, the Bird series and the Tenacious series, all have pretty much the same materials. They have kind of some lower end G10, still fairly good, and they have 8 CR13 MOV, most of them. Some of the Bird line now, the Raven and another one, have a little bit nicer steel, but the price is a little bit higher on those. I think it's more towards the $50 compared to the $30. So this is the Persistence in the series of Chinese Spydercos. Now, the Persistence has a blade length about the same as a Delica, so about 2.8 inches, around there. And I think the Tenacious is more like a 3.3 inch blade. So if you have knife restrictions in your county or state for blade length, this would probably be a better option for you because it's under that 3-inch rule. That if you do have blade restrictions, that would probably be one of them. But it's overall very close to the same design, just like the other knives in that series, the Ambitious, the Persistence, the Tenacious, and the Resilience. And I really like this design. Personally, I like knives that are smaller like this for everyday tasks. Of course, a little bit bigger knife would be better for the tactical needs, like for self-defense and whatnot. But as far as using it on an everyday basis for actual tasks you'd be doing, it's a great size. Fits in the hand good. I'm pretty average, guy as far as my hand goes and my height and everything and weight. So this is average guy hand on it. Just to put it in perspective here. And I like these kind of knives that are smaller and maneuverable anyways. But this one, most of them you'll find are actually in black G10. I wanted the blue one. I really like blue. So when I saw there's a blue one, it was only like $3 more on eBay. I got the blue one. But most of them will be black. As you can see, made in China, here it says. It's made out of 8 CR13 MOV, which, as far as budget steels go, is very good. It's a budget steel out of China, but it's still a pretty good steel. It's really easy to sharpen. It holds an edge fairly well. It's not the most rust-proof steel, so you definitely want to wipe it down if you get, smudges on it or you get it wet or anything. Definitely want to let it dry off and wipe it down. The blade style, this leaf-shaped blade, is very good. I really enjoy the style it is. It doesn't have a choil, which for this blade, it's not that big a deal, but for the Tenacious, something that large of a blade, I can see that not having a choil would be kind of awkward in the way it's handled and everything. I don't know, it just kind of That's personal preference for me. I feel like a choil would be better on something that big, but for this one, it's pretty good without. The jimping on it is very good. It's very sharp jimping here. You can see, very sharp. Really gives you a good grip. It also has some jimping here on the lock itself. This is a liner lock. It's not as sharp, so it doesn't really callus up your finger too much. It is still, not smooth there, so if you play with it too much, which if you get a knife in the Tenacious series and you don't have a lot of other Spydercos that are liner locks, you probably will be playing with it quite a lot, because it's very fun to do, the Spidey flicks and just to mess with it. It's very fun. So you'll definitely be playing with it a lot when you get it, especially if you don't have a lot of knives. The pocket clip is it's a 4-way pocket clip, so you can position it tip up, tip down, left or right. It does have some, I think they're bronze bushings, or see them in there, copper bronze bushings. So it is very smooth. The centering is pretty good. It's pretty damn close to center, and of course this has been used and heavily played with, so it's gonna loosen up a little bit. I believe it came tip down carry, so keep that in mind. If you're a tip up kind of guy like I am, I did have to switch the clip, and it requires Torx bits here. Not exactly sure the size here, like a T6 or T5 or something right here. But yeah, overall, great size, great in the hand, nice and smooth. Definitely a good blade. I think you can pick these up for around $35. They've become really popular, so I think the price has actually gone up a little bit on them, especially the Tenacious. Because I think these are more like low $30 knives instead of $40 knives. So try to get one if you're getting just a black one. These will probably be $40 or above, the blue. But if you just get a black one, I'd try to score one for around $30, like $33 or something like that. It'd probably be an okay deal on it. Also, if you're interested in this knife, I would strongly look into the Bird line, because the Bird line has basically Chinese-made Delicas and Enduras and the Dragonfly with G10 or with the FRN scales, depending on how much you want to pay and how light you want it and whatnot. And very comparable. They have the same blade steel, just in those kind of designs. And what's cool about the Bird knives, I'll try to get some in for review, because I've been eyeing that Cara and the Meadowlark, which is the Endura and Delica styles. And they're interesting because the Delica and the Endura don't have front choils down here, like right here, on those two blades, but those two knives do. So it's interesting that the ergonomics on it could even be a little bit better on those, depending on your preference, on the cheaper Bird line than it is on like the full out VG10 Spydercos. So if you're interested in the Tenacious or the Persistence, I'd recommend checking out the Bird line, Spyderco Bird knives. If you look on Amazon, you'll see a couple. The Meadowlark is the Delica, which should be comparable in size to this. And then the Cara is the larger knife, more comparable to the Endura, or the Tenacious, I guess. And they also have other two, which are actual, instead of being back locks like those two, which are liner locks if you prefer that. And they have the Raven 2 and another one in those line, but they're liner locks, and they actually have better steel. They have a nicer steel than the CR13. I forget what steel it is exactly, but those are a little bit pricier. Those are more toward the $40 range compared to like a $30 range. But if you're looking at this, that would be the same price as this most of the time, like upper $30 to $40 range. So definitely look at those, because it's the same liner lock style knife from Spyderco or whatever that has G10 and a better blade steel. So look up the Bird series for sure if you're interested in the Tenacious line, because you'll find a lot more knives that are very comparable in quality and design. So thank you for watching.